Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of GeekVerse podcast. I am the Helmet, Taylor Field, and I am joined by...
I am Dylan Moss.
Yes,
Nicknameless
and
Dylan Moss.
we are here because we are going to be doing another round of Halo reviews.
Back
Season
at it.
2 is upon us, and so we are getting into the juiciness of Master Cheeks. But before we get into that, a couple of plugs. Support us on Patreon. Help us grow the show. I think I'm butchering this. And create new
You
content
haven't
where you
even
get ad
started yet.
free.
Give yourself a chance.
Okay.
You'll nail it. I believe in you.
Early and exclusive episodes with your internet connection. You can find us in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook. I want to drop a huge shout out, huge thank you to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Muds, and Sam. You all know who you are. You're fabulous. We love you. We love all you, but you guys are the producers. So, what else we got here? We got a. What do we got going on in the Geekverse? What's the latest and greatest?
What do we got? We did a fun newscast, me, you, and Travis this week. That was fun. We talked all sorts of news, some Jurassic stuff, some trailers, some Madam Web predictions. That was fun. So Madam Web reviews next week. Side quests, a lot of fun. Me and Travis had a very long, lengthy discussion on all sorts of state of play, Xbox rumors with these Xbox games. Speaking of Xbox games, coming over to PlayStation and whatnot, and then me and you are going to talk about Skull and Bones next week, which and other things which I'm excited about. So that should be good. I played last night. I will not say anything, but I played. I played Skull and Bones last night. It's a real game. It exists after all these years.
Oh, I can't wait. You reminded me. This Sunday is the Super Bowl, and while we're not covering the Super Bowl, we are covering the trailers, so definitely tune in because we're going to be talking about maybe Deadpool 3 trailers, some other cool things that have dropped, so that's something to look forward to. But other than that, I think we are ready to get into this, so I guess we'll just do our basic non-spoilers first, and this is, again, episodes 1 and 2. Do you want to do, like, episode 1 first, or do you just want to join them together?
I think we can, kind of talk about the storylines, all of Soren stuff at once, all of da-da-da at once. That probably makes the most sense, right? I watched them back-to-back personally, so they kind of blend together a bit.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, so non-spoilers, how'd you feel getting back into this world?
Yeah, right off the bat, I felt like I was thrown in the deep end. Like I probably should have watched a recap of the first season, or if they had one. A lot of shows will do that, where there's like a longer before last time on for the first episode of a season. Because even though we did those reviews, and it doesn't feel like that show was too long ago, I am really missing a lot of the little details. And there's certain characters I'm like, why didn't Miranda Keyes show up? I have no idea where she left off the last season. Certain things like that. So it took me a bit, and I still feel like I'm kind of getting my bearings there. But then also we're throwing in new characters and whatnot. It's a pretty weak start for me so far. Honestly, by the end of episode 2, like where we're set up for episode 3, I'm actually more excited for where we're going to get there. But this first, I guess, hour and a half between those first 2 episodes, it felt pretty slow, and I wasn't really loving kind of the drama that was going on with Chief and Ackerson, who's like the new chief in command, whatever you want to call him. Didn't really love that dynamic so much, but they even kind of... Some things at the end of episode 2, I guess, more set up some more interesting things that we're going to see further down the line. So, and then, I don't know, there's so many different storylines going on. I feel like all of them are kind of just getting that intro right now, so there's not too much to dig on yet, but so far it was just kind of a bit of a bland start here. Pacing was a bit off, but that's what this show's great at, is having off pacing, so... I don't know. I'm not loving it so far. Not even really liking it that much, but I am genuinely intrigued for potentially what we have set up for episode 3. So hopefully it takes an upswing next week. But yeah, kind of feeling on par with where I was for most of the first season there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I share a few things that you've kind of specified in that. I feel... I felt optimistic going into this season to a slight degree because I really thought, okay, maybe they're going to drift away from certain things they did with that first season. A lot of originality that they decided to indulge in instead of kind of adhering to source material from the games and books and whatnot, I was not a fan of in that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And there as soon as this first episode popped in and I was watching, I thought, man, I'm just getting like PTSD flashbacks of things I didn't like in that first season. But I will say, okay, they did some things that I did enjoy in this first episode, but those things did not last long. And then we just went right back into our old ways of just them doing certain things. I will say that Ackerson, I really enjoyed that character's introduction. I enjoyed
Okay.
getting to see more of that story because that's a character that I'm interested in, at least with how he exists in the Halo game, or not really the games, but the Halo books and the universe. So there's interesting things that they can tackle with that character, and just with them bringing him into the show, it just excites me for what is to come in terms of Master Chief and our Spartans and whatnot. But they also were alluding to several big things coming to play in the middle of the season, which I guess will probably be, I'm assuming it's 8. I think it's 8 episodes. I don't actually know.
Wasn't it 10 for the first season?
It might have been oh, actually, I think it was 9. I think it was 9.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah,
what-
so I guess that would probably be like episode 4 or 5 is when things
There
kinda
will
like
be
hit the
8 this
crescendo.
season apparently. So
8. Okay.
that might be good for pacing and stuff compared to how we were feeling last go around.
Yes, absolutely. So once we get into that middle part of the season, like they were alluding to, where some big stuff is going to happen. I mean, they're being pretty mysterious about it, but I think most people can kind of pinpoint what they're getting at. So I'm excited to see that happen. But there's so much that I'm really just not a fan of. So much like bullshit and just mannerisms, and Chief just going to his old ways, and he's just emotional and stuff. And we'll get more into that in the spoilers. But God,
I'm sure
hate
you
it,
love the
man.
sequence when he had the hood on and he was doing that. whole-
no, oh my God, oh,
Uh,
it stresses me out. And I was telling Travis this because he asked me how the show was earlier, and I told him, like, I got nothing against Pablo. I'm sure he's a great guy in real life. I'm sure he, like, fantastic. But every time he takes that helmet off, fuck, I get angry. I
Yeah.
just don't like I don't like his face as Master Chief. And that's a very mean
Wow,
thing to
going for
say.
face.
I'm so sorry, but like, it's nothing against Pablo. Nice guy, but he's just not who I would associate with Master Chief, and that's just my own problem, my own biasness that I have to work through. It's nothing against Pablo, nothing against the creators of the show, anything like that. It's just me as a person and my flaws. So I wish that he looked different. He's just got like that great stubble, that nice looking haircut. Like, I'd love to look like do that haircut and that beard he's got going on, but that's not what Master Chief has. Master Chief has something different going on, at least to me. Anyways, I think I've rambled enough. Anything else you want to sneak in there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think non-spoilers wise. I guess how did you feel about, because we got a couple, really one main action scene, and then in episode 2 it was kind of more like an acrobatic one. There was like a small like action fight scene thing. How did you feel about the CGI? Because that was a big topic of conversation throughout season 1.
I'd say the budget is noticeably different in an improved way. While there's
Oh, okay.
definitely certain things, like when the Spartans are running, I feel like this is kind of
Yeah.
weird, but I don't even think that's CGI, because I was looking at some behind the scenes and they have them on like a zip line, and they're
Wow.
they're like moving as they move along the zip line.
It's got to be a combo of that plus CGI for the more like extreme movements. I would.
I
Imagine,
think so.
right?
I think so. Kind of like how the vampires run on Twilight. That's what it kind of reminds me of almost.
I haven't watched that yet for the retro, so I'm not. It's not top of mind for me. But when we get to that retro, we can revisit that concept. I definitely agree with you. For me, it was the weird. That was that's the easiest part to nail. It was like just a guy in the armor like running, because you just film that and you're good to go. But that was the stuff that looked weird for me, was really any of the Spartans in their suits doing big action stuff. I thought all the Covenant looked great, just like they did in season 1. And most of like the effects and whatnot were really solid too, but it was mostly just the CGI around the people, right? Because that's what I expect. I mean, even though it's people in suit, like they need to look more lifelike than that, but they look just so CGI that that definitely stood out to me. So I hope that improves. If they have one less episode, hopefully that means that budget-wise they have a bit, they can get that action to look a bit better. But for the most part, I think it looked decent. It was just mostly that most of the Spartans running around and flying around and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Spaceships all look great. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
Covenant looked pretty good.
Yep.
Same as season 1. So, yeah, no complaints there.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much else than in the non spoilers realm of things.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else either. So with that, then you had your chance. Go back now if you got to watch the show because we're getting into spoiler territory after this ad break. And we are back. So where in this wonderful story do you you want to start?
Well, you mentioned that you were pretty into it at the start, and then there was a shift, and you weren't quite as into it. Is that because we opened with like that big action, longer sequence,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the stuff after it is what you were less into? Like when we got back into more like the character stuff, is that kind of what you were talking about?
That's exactly it. When we got
Yeah.
them, the Silver Team, just on this planet doing their stuff, I was really jiving with this. I thought it was cool that they're just on the outer rim worlds. They're evacuating people because the Covenant's getting like pushing in further and further. It was really cool to see. And so the mysteriousness of the fog, these Marines just out there being kind of stupid, and they're just communications officers. I shouldn't say they're stupid, but they're very ill equipped and trained for this situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right thing I should have said. So when you have all these elites popping in, you get that cool fight sequence and whatnot. Then for me, what I think that it's fitting because I feel like there is definitely a place in Halo where you have very, very religiously prophetic individuals that are just fixated, like this is our belief, this is what we're going for, and that woman. And then her followers, them just choosing to stay behind. I feel like there's definitely a place in Halo for that kind of thing. But when they're walking and she goes and like touches Chief's like arm, like find your your religion or something like that,
Yeah.
Chief. And I'm like, man, I don't think Chief gives much of a shit about this. He'd be picking you up and throwing you into that bloody condor to get you out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's interesting to bring it. That seemed very un-Halo like to me. Now, obviously, you're way deeper in the lore and the story, and you're reading the books to me. But just like that character, that group, I don't know. I guess it felt so similar, like things I've seen in Star Wars, and so it kind of took me out of the Halo universe. And because I feel like really we haven't seen too many of like human civilizations outside of like we spent a lot of time in Madrigal, and then we had like Soren's asteroid place, right? Whatever that was in season 1, and I'm trying to think of other ones. I guess like Reach as a place, like obviously that whole area. But yeah, I guess if we go down to these different worlds, we can get to see these different perspectives and outlooks. But I guess since we spent so little time with them and they're kind of like gone now, I didn't really feel a whole lot for them. But I don't know. Maybe that was like a bit of foreshadow too, because there was a lot of trippy stuff going on with Chief and his mind, especially on that planet, right?
Yeah, he's still going through some intense mental inhibitors, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
What?
I'm curious how did you feel, because we in that sequence there's the one Perez is the other lieutenant private whatever she was that makes it through that encounter. And this is skipping ahead to episode 2, but I think we can talk about it now. It was like she is there with Chief, and then when they get back to their home planet and Ackerson, this is like I guess spinning into whole other storylines and whatnot. But Perez, I guess, didn't share what she experienced during that encounter, and then Chief's kind of getting chewed out for it by Ackerson and getting taken off missions and no combat and all this stuff. And then he goes to her house and they have like this whole dinner sequence, which was kind of strange. I did not understand her logic or her explanation, because first she's saying that, oh well, I didn't really see anything. It was kind of like foggy and like I was kind of like knocked out. I couldn't really see anything. But then she's like, yeah, but then I chose not to tell him what I saw. Did that make more sense to you? I even rewatched. I rewind and watched the scene again, and I could not understand her logic. But it's like it's pretty important. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other scummy things going on with Ackerson, and maybe he doesn't care, and he would have found a way to sewer Chief in some other way. But I feel like this is a big part of the plot of why he's been taken off mission and why the whole Silver Team's been benched, even if they're disobeying those orders by the end of it. So I don't know. Did that make more sense to you? Was I missing something?
They did not do a good job at explaining it. At the end of the day, I think that you want to keep what Chief is saying quiet, and Ackerson is obviously taken over for Halsey. Ackerson is a part of Oni, and Oni, obviously naval intelligence. They're the be all end all. They're very much they're not necessarily the good guys, even though they're trying to help protect humanity. So why I think she lied, I think, is because they probably threatened her. And this is
Mm-hmm.
all my own headcanon. They did not address this in the show, but I think Ackerson probably threatened her. And maybe
Right.
seeing her family is an implication that shows like, hey, this is what she has to lose. But the fact is, the Covenant are here, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. But we don't want people to be panicking. We don't want people to be freaking out. That's again why he's talking to Cortana behind everyone's backs. Like, hey, what can we do? Run the simulations. Can we survive this? Can we defend Reach? Whatever. So I think she lied because she was threatened.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And I mean, also like she's kind of being rewarded. And they're almost kind of like setting her up as a hero, and that's what his speech is all about too. Is like, we need heroes or whatever he
Yeah.
says. So giving her a
Yeah.
medal, putting her on TV, kind of lifting her up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a way to like spin the public's perception too, like away from Chief and Silver Team, and more making her the hero of the story, even though she's even like, I don't even know why I got a medal. Like I didn't really do anything to deserve it.
Well, that's another thing with Ackerson's character. Ackerson, he's not a fan of Halsey. Halsey is a rival, and in turn, a way to kind of out at Halsey is to kind of strike out at Spartan 2 program.
Mm.
Something that Ackerson does is he brings in the Spartan 3 program. And if you remember, you've played Reach, so you know Noble 6, the main guy you play as, he's a Spartan 3. So
Okay.
this is where you have Ackerson introducing this next generation and what Spartan 3s are. And I'd be really excited just to see them kind of get thrown into the mix here. Is you have the Spartan 2s where they were boys or girls, like kids, and they hint again at that in this for what Halsey had did. Everyone seems to know and is talking about it when they see a Spartan, like, oh, you were abducted when you were a kid. That's
Right.
super shady. That's what Spartan 2s are. But they were hand selected when humanity was at its prime and peak before the Covenant came. Where you have Spartan 3s, they're usually just orphans, whatnot, and their augmentations, I believe they're very different forms of augmentations. They're not the same and invasive as it was for Spartan 2s, where like they
Okay.
had like the titanium bones and whatnot. Spartan 3s are more like a cheaper method of just pumping Spartans out, but they're still very capable and very effective.
Yeah.
But that's where Ackerson, I'm assuming, is coming into play here and where they're going to
Right.
be leading.
So I should probably look at it at any, as of right now, like any of Ackerson's decisions or actions are kind of there to discredit Halsey in any way possible, and that's why he's partially like maybe he thinks Chief and Silver Team are solid and reliable, but as part of his whole narrative of discrediting Halsey, he kind of has to also throw them under the bus because that was her pet project, right?
I would say that's definitely it. He's very much like not self-sustaining, but out for himself and his own goals as much as he is like, yeah, I'm doing this for humanity.
Yeah.
He has a good position of being similar to Halsey in certain regards, but then very different at the same time. Both characters, I would definitely put Halsey as more the hero, but both of them are, I guess, evil to a degree. At least Halsey's evil in this show, it looks like.
Right. Like I guess it's like a good gray area in concept, right? Because obviously they're against the Covenant and they want humanity to survive, but the ways in which they do it is kind of up for debate in terms of
Right.
if that's the most ethical. And obviously we explored that a lot with Halsey in the first season. I'm liking what you're selling here for Ackerson, because I was not a fan of him here, and I think even just that explanation of maybe some more of his motives, well, like from your backstory there, helps me kind of have a better idea who he is. But it just felt like a very big, powerful character to just drop in here. And like, I feel like, okay, I'm supposed to just respect this guy and think he's cool and badass, but like, I don't really know who he is, even if I've maybe seen him in a game at some point. I don't remember him or anything. So what was it about him? Because you obviously like him as a character, bringing in your prior knowledge. But what was it about like what we actually got here in episode 1 and 2 that you're liking of the portrayal so far? Like, what do you think about the performance too? I guess.
I like his performance because he definitely feels like he just how he commands this power of like, yeah, okay, Chief, you guys, you're benched, and he's just spinning his own narrative. He should have put Chief up on the camera, but he put Perez, which for moral's sake, I mean, sure, it makes regular Joe Blow feel like they can make a difference, and everyone doesn't have to be a Spartan, but Spartans never die. He should have put Chief up there, and just that would have been a huge game changer. He should be he he should be doing more, you think, but I like him because he's not doing what is right. He's doing all these different things that is like against Chief and everything like that. I feel like that's more represented well, just with this character in general. Now, I don't remember a lot of direct like communication between Ackerson and Chief in the books or anything along those lines, but I do remember just how he acted and certain just mannerisms, and I feel like Ackerson in the show is definitely portraying that really, really well. And that's just my own take.
Yeah.
But I stand with you on the fact that how they introduced him was very ill. They throw him he walks into a room, and I can't remember the Spartan's name, if it was Kai, but she's like, "Who's this guy?" And it's like, okay, we the audience are supposed to be the Spartans right now,
Right,
and
yeah.
we're learning about this guy with them. But as he's in there for 30 seconds and then he leaves, and you still have no idea who this guy is, just that he's
Yeah.
now the new head honcho. It's a terrible job delivering information about who this guy is.
Yeah. I feel like maybe they're hemming up his evilness or like his suspiciousness maybe like too much at the start. I feel like maybe we should establish some rapport where there's like some reason to root for him first and then try and take him down, or like that's when you do the more severe things and then we as an audience more struggle to go along with it. But like right off the bat, it's like I hate this guy and I don't want him to succeed and I want everything against him. And I'm not even like a diehard fan for this Chief and this Silver Team. We talked about all the issues we have with those characters in the first season. So yeah, I guess it just feels like a weird way to start him off here too. And I don't know, there was even like some unnecessary. So, like I don't really understand the point of that scene he had with Kai when he brings Kai into his office to confirm. Like how do you feel about Chief as a leader? I don't know. Maybe they're setting up that Kai is going to go against Chief potentially, because also when he's in the ship at the end and Kai's asking like, "Are we approved to go in combat?" and like Chief just lies to her right then and there. So maybe that's what they're setting up, and maybe that's the breadcrumb we're getting there is also her that defending him, but then maybe he'll be able to sway her over time or something. But yeah, it's not really working for me so much. And I guess I also I really have no idea where we're going with Ackerson. I don't really know what his big game plan is yet, and I don't need to. It's still like fairly early on here, but maybe that's a part of it too, where I just don't really understand like the trajectory, and that makes me a little less invested at the moment.
I think you're very much correct that they are going to try and maybe pitch Spartan against Spartan here with Silver Team, which I hate to see. And I'm going to let that segue into another thing, seeing Cobalt and Silver Team,
Right.
just them talking about killing each other and just their banter. I was getting pissed off. This is fucking bullshit. I don't know any scenario where you got these Spartan 2s just fucking reaming each other out like this. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? You have a group of kids that were all abducted and all formed really close-knit bonds to each other. And while definitely certain squads are more connected and in tune than others, I'm sure. But the only thing that they did right that I appreciated was there was a little bit of just respect when Master Chief finally came to the conversation and said something to Cobalt's leader, and he just acknowledged like, "Yes, Chief, that's like okay."
Yeah, it seems like there's respect for Chief from King
Yes.
Cobalt, but they hate the other three people for some
Yeah,
reason.
apparently, which I think is just ridiculous because they all have the same thing in common, and they all like it just doesn't make sense. And that's something with the books. You have Spartans, all Spartan 2, like Spartan 2s that haven't seen each other in a long time. They get thrown into the mix together and they're just like in sync instantly. They're like best friends, like
Right.
never separated, whatever. And that just really bothers me to see them at odds like this. I could see a difference between even Spartan 3s and Spartan 2s. They mingle really, really well. But you see certain things in how maybe in Halo 5 Guardians where there's respect, even in Halo Infinite, or not Halo Infinite, Halo 4, there's certain respect, but there's still a dispute between like Spartan 2s and Spartan 4s, I would say, because Spartan 4s are more I don't know. There's a little bit of a stigma, I would say. And that's just what I've observed and how I take that. But
Yeah.
to see Spartan 2s going at it, it just fucking made me want to pull my hair out.
Yeah, and in terms of like, yeah, if they're setting up this kind of Spartan versus Spartan situation, like, do you with this thing of Ackerson bringing in the threes, like, do you think that's something that would happen this season in terms of the timing of things? In which case, like, why do we really need the all this like petty conflict? Like, goddamn, that locker room scene was like so cringe to me. All the dialogue, oh, I don't even want to get into it, but I was not a fan of that scene.
Yeah, I was not a fan at all. I mean, I don't know if they would bring in Spartan threes and I mean, Ackerson. I'm sure that whatever motives that they're wanting to give him, I doubt that it's going to be a Spartan 3 program at this point. I feel like if we get season 3, maybe it would be down the road then. But I think for now, they're just using him as an inhibitor against Chief and Silver Team. And he's just going to be kind of like looming over them and looming in the background, trying to get a grasp on when Reach falls. I think that's all his part in this season is going to be, is just that. And I mean, that means that maybe at the end he's going to come forward and be like, yeah, we're going to be, we're losing too many Spartans. Cobalt, they're dead. We got to make more. So here's my plan. And maybe season 2 ends on like a cliffhanger where he introduces all these new Spartans or something. I don't know, but
Right.
we'll see.
That was the thing I was kind of intrigued by. Is, I mean, I guess that's where I had an issues with some pacing in these first 2 episodes, because it's pretty obvious once Ackerson is benching Chief that they're going to go against Command there and go hunt down whatever their mission was going to be. I knew that they were going to go against his command, even if they haven't been given the go ahead to go do something. And I just felt like, why did we have to wait till the end of episode 2 to get to that? Like, let's get into it a bit quicker, especially if there's one less episode. But that is what I'm intrigued by. I'm excited to go see Silver Team go try and track down Cobalt and whatever happens there. I don't really know what to expect from that, but I thought that was pretty well done. And also, like, setting up Ackerson as like lying about where Cobalt was sent and what's going on. Like, I'm intrigued to see what the answer to that whole sequence is going to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's some cool action that comes along with it too.
I hope so. The action always helps kind of lessen the blow with this show. I get that they're trying to make a comparison with Silver Team to Blue Team, and Blue Team, that's Chief's squad from the games and the books. Fred, Linda, and Kelly. Even in that Halo live action film that they did, Forward into Dawn, you get to see Fred and Kelly in that movie. And when you have Chief giving out orders, giving out commands in these books and these games and whatnot, like they don't even question it. They're there. They're doing it. And so when you have in episode 1, Chief giving an order and Vanek is like, babysitting? Whoa. It's like, man, this is so not cool. I don't like this. And then again, we already talked about Kai looming in like, well, we're given permission to go weapons free here, Chief, or whatever. And Chief's like, yeah, like he lies to them. Like, that's just not Spartanly. Like, it doesn't jive. Like in Halo 5 Guardians, Blue Team didn't even question it. Chief went AWOL and they were with him.
Right.
So why isn't this team doing it too? Now that they all removed their pellets, maybe they're all just freedom thinkers, I guess. If maybe they kept the pellets in there, maybe they would have been inclined to listen to him and not question him. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm based on what we've got in the show so far, season 1, I would be inclined to believe that they would follow him into go hunt down Cobalt, even if he had been truthful there. So I'm curious to see why he did give that answer. But once again, maybe it's because even then, like, if Ackerson was putting these seeds in Kai's mind that he's not trustworthy or he's got some mental stuff going on and he's not a good leader right now, like, Chief didn't know that occurred, right? So how would he know that he should lie there because the seeds have already been planted? Like, he doesn't really know any of that. So felt like, I don't know. I don't really know what the purpose was of the lie.
Yeah, unless there was some pre-existing notion, because the only way that falls out is they're all in a room and they're told, like, Chief never had permission to take you guys out. And then Kai looks at Chief like, what? You lie? Like, something like that. But yeah, that kind of changes it up a little bit. Them removing their pelts, it's kind of weird that the UNSC is just like, yeah, Spartans, if you want to remove them, go ahead and remove them. That did not bode well in season 1 when multiple Spartans were like down because like they
I'm just
couldn't
remembering
handle
those
the stress.
scenes when they first took their chips out and like they were being all loopy and oh
They're
my
painting
God,
their hair. They're
that
doing some
was
fucked up
oh yeah,
shit.
the grease in the hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Very questionable performances, or not performances, but mannerisms, I guess.
I'll say performances. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird. So see, in season one, Vanek and Riz like really didn't have a story or much characterization. Like Kai was the other one who was given a ton of story, and
Mhm.
I feel like so far it feels like Riz is getting a lot of content here so far. I mean, at least relative to season one, where like I could not tell you any defining trait about her. She was just kind of in the crew. Even Vanek had more. But yeah, how are you feeling about her? 'Cause she's just like really. It seems like she has some temper issues. Like anytime anyone says anything, she's like, "I'll fuck you up. I'll kill you." Like whether she was talking to her like I guess physiotherapist guy or the other people in the locker room. Just really aggressive. She's going through all of these. I don't know. I guess just she has to heal. She's kind of physically pretty fucked up from some of the actions of season one, I suppose. I can't even remember what happened to her exactly, but I'm sure it was in there. So yeah, how are you feeling about her now that we're seeing like more of her or a different side of her?
I like getting to see a different side of her and getting to see more of her story develop, but I'm just curious what their end goal is. Are they trying to overall just show us and teach us that, hey, not all Spartans need to be warriors? Because I feel like, okay, well, we kind of got that with Soren. He disregarded his past and
Mm-hmm.
jumped ship and didn't want to be a Spartan, so he just went and became like a pirate bandit guy. So now they're implying like, is she gonna live the life of a pacifist? What is her plan? Like they're kind of putting the stones in front of her to leave being a Spartan behind and be something different. Even her trainer, who was apparently a Spartan until the procedures made him lose his eyesight, kind of implied that, hey, there's more to life than being the super soldier. You don't have to be that. So I'm curious if that's the route they're going to take with her character ultimately. And I feel bad because I'd like to see more of her just being a Spartan, especially being injured now and her overcoming that and making a comeback over that. I would really like to see that because I feel like she could be a force to reckon with. Her temper tantrums are definitely a thing, very potent thing.
Yeah, it just feels like a part of her personality that I don't seem to remember from the first season.
No, she was very, very quiet, and especially Vanek was. I mean, he's probably like fourth in terms of story development. Quiet, I'd say, still, but
Yeah.
he's gotten a lot more personality added to him, and I think it's kind of fun that the actor can do that now with this character instead of playing just a robot. Thanks, I guess, to the pelt being removed. He likes to watch his what does
Right.
he watch? His programs, like
Oh
nature
yeah.
shows or something like that.
Yeah.
Very peculiar.
I'm trying to think what other stuff occurred with Chief and that sort of crew. So I mean, also at one point he's in the shower, and I was wondering if we were gonna see
Oh.
those master cheeks. We
I'm just
didn't.
afraid, like I like the fact that he slept with someone. I'm afraid that he's. I thought he was gonna sleep with Perez. I just don't know anymore. Like he's just unhinged and he's ready to go. He went into that like Blade Runner room where he was trying to like activate the hologram and like
Yeah.
he's changing her look constantly. Like I was like, what is
That was a
going on?
weird scene. I don't even know what to say about that one. It was bizarre. Yeah, the hoodie he had on there. I'm like, this is not my chief. Like this is some
No.
weird stuff.
No, and he rocked the hood again when he goes in the elevator to speak with the admiral. I can't remember her name, but I totally forgot about this character and forgot that she took the hit for Halsey.
Right.
And she's like, "Yeah,
Now
you
she's
learn
living
anything."
underground, kind of.
She's living underground now. Apparently, I'm a civilian now. So yeah, basically anything that he learns, Chief learns on Ackerson or I guess other stuff, he's gonna report it to her. But I don't know
Hmm.
what good that does because she's a civilian.
Yeah, I don't know. And what did happen to Miranda Keys in season one at the end? Where is she?
I have no memory. I thought she was still kicking around on Reach.
Yeah, I guess from what I remember, she was like trying to get more responsibility, trying to climb up, get a promotion, sort of thing,
Oh yeah, they put her in
and
like
her dad
Halsey's
like didn't
lab.
really want her to have more responsibility, something like this.
Yeah, they put her in Halsey's labs. You're right. She did have a lot more responsibility and as just like a science officer or something like that. But I guess she got the shaft here because
When Halsey went
Ackerson's in.
down, yeah, but her
She
dad is
stepped
still there,
in.
so I imagine she'll show up. But maybe she won't because like every other character that I can think of at least had some screen time here, like
Hmm.
McKee and Quan were at least like here barely. It was more just like they're in this season. You'll see them
Hmm.
later. I guess we got a little bit more with Quan, but yeah, with her we didn't even see her at all, right? So
Yeah, I
kind of a
hope that
weird
they do
choice.
bring her in. I mean, she's a very in Halo 2. She's a huge main character for sure, and then
I
she is
remember
carried into
liking
Halo
her as
3.
well from season one. One of the few characters that I was into her journey for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully they don't scrap her.
Hmm.
Um, was there anything else on like the UNSC that you wanted to touch upon? Because you mentioned Quan there.
Oh yeah, what's there to say about Quan? I mean, episode one didn't really have much. Like she was kind of in the cave with Soren's kid, right?
Hmm.
And then she had that action sequence, which was decent. I thought it was pretty okay. I like the setting of that. I mean, even in general, like from season one too, I really just Soren's asteroid. I always forget the name of that place. Does it have a name that we know?
I have no idea. Let's see if I can
Wherever that
find
place
it.
is, I like the look and feel of it. Feels very gritty, and I like just seeing all the stuff going on in the background. It's very just richly detailed and all that. So I like that action scene enough there, and yeah, I just like to see even like for Quan that was she had to kill that guy and that weighed on her pretty heavily there. So that was interesting to see. I don't really know where her story is going, but I also have no clue what the hell is going on with Soren in that storyline. So I feel a bit lost there, given the screen time in these first couple episodes. Um, so I don't know. We'll see, because that was, I think, one of our biggest complaints with season one is not necessarily we didn't like Quan or the acting or anything, but it was just that storyline was like, why is this here? Like this is not feeding into the greater narrative, and it's not even that intriguing on the side of it. And that was also a thing. So they were naming off planets that were destroyed by the Covenant, and Madrigal, like that's her home planet, right, or where she was,
Yes, that's where
and
she was.
they just name dropped that was destroyed and it's gone now.
Hmm.
So that felt like kind of like, well, that's kind of a bit of a just throwaway line for this place that was a pretty big setting in season one. So that was also surprising.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It doesn't seem like that would be her story is going back there. Maybe at some point we'll get her reaction, or maybe she already knows that it got destroyed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that I mean, seeing plants get destroyed, they're being glassed. It was very cool to kind of see that in live action. It's such a
I thought the
very
effects were great for that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very brutal thing that the Covenant does. Of course, when the Covenant they added this new thing where like they're training the elites, I guess, as they go into the planet before they glass it,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is kind of weird.
that was Chief's theory at least, but I took it that there was more going on. Like they were looking for someone in particular, or looking for an artifact, or I don't know, whatever they're looking for. But at the same time, like they're not looking that like I mean I don't understand yet why they left Chief alive, but there's obviously some story element there. So maybe it is just that simple. Maybe it is just training, but I feel like there's some other layer that we don't know yet.
You're absolutely spot on, and that's in the games the biggest reason why they attack Reach, why they don't glass it. They deploy the ground troops because Reach is like a massive archive of Forerunner tech, the stuff that
Right.
they love. They just salivate for that stuff, and if you destroy it or hamper it, then it's like super heretical.
I think that's a word. Yeah, heretical. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that if you remember the Covenant, but maybe that I definitely would stand with that theory that you proposed with them at the beginning, just not wanting to destroy the planet right away. Um, Additionally, I think that with Quan, like you mentioned, I think she was much better in this season. I think that season one there was definitely some stuff going on that yeah, I wasn't really jiving with the character, but in season two so far, I feel like it was either better writing, albeit brief as it is. I just think that she as an actress is just really like bringing it. I feel like okay, there's definitely some more stuff going on here with this character that I am
Hmm.
liking, and I'm thankful for that.
Her
Uh,
look was cool too. I
Her
I
look was
thought with
cool.
like the kind of she's trying to shroud herself, hide herself, and I thought it looked nice.
Yeah, and I also think that just the story of just these earpieces that you have to wear, like
Mm.
it seems like if you're you're like an orphan of another planet, and these groups will take you in, but you're kind of like their servants or their slaves,
Yeah,
something
it's like
like
a
that.
cattle tag essentially, right? It
Basically,
is
yeah,
pretty dehumanizing, which is good.
yeah.
Good angle.
So I welcome that into the Halo storyline, at least with these like underground like rogue bandit running groups. It's kind of cool, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. You just get to see her be kind of like that buddy buddy to Soren's kid and whatnot. Especially after Soren goes missing, he gets bamboozled hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but before we carry on, we're gonna jump to another ad break. We'll
Sure.
be right back, and we are back.
Well, I just thought about this. So maybe before we get to Soren and stuff, I should ask this, which is, and maybe you know the answer because you're the lore master here. But why didn't the Covenant, whatever they're doing, finding this Forerunner tech, why didn't they kill Chief there? They had him dead to rights. They had 40 dudes with energy swords. He was outnumbered. Why did they leave him alive there?
There's no reason, no reason at all
Really, you
why
don't
they
think there
should.
is some reason?
The only minor minuscule thing I could ever tell myself is that elites are very honorable, and if this was not a fair fight, that they would back off, I guess, for that reason. But like,
That was a fair. Well, I mean, the 40 versus 1, maybe that's not fair, but
yeah,
he had just killed like what, at least 3 or 4 of them.
a few of them, yeah. So again, that's me trying to piece it together. But all in all, I think that like he's the demon. They should have went and killed him instead of just leaving it to chance. Like, hey, we're just gonna start glassing the planet, and chances are you're probably gonna die, Master Chief. It just doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that term, glassing the planet.
glass the planet. That's the official Halo term.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't have a lot really to add to Soren, just that it seems like he's just got this fixation with Halsey, and it's ruining his family. He's having fights with his wife, and now he got kidnapped.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't. I that there was that 0G kind of. I mean, it was all a trap, really. But I thought that was a cool set piece. At least you kind of have this twerpy little kid who's leading him on this merry chase. I think it would have been cool if they were also in 0G. I understand it's a lot more work. I'm sure to get the effects going on for that. But I think it could have been a more cool setting if we had that. But all these like shipping containers like smashing into each other and whatnot. But yeah, that's I'm kind of with you on that. I don't think I have much on Soren yet. Just kind of have to wait and see, kind of see where that story goes, because I feel like it was. I can't remember when exactly it was because I watched episodes back to back. But I feel like early on in episode 2, he got kidnapped, and then we just didn't see any resolution of that yet. So
yeah.
I'm not too sure.
I did appreciate the nod to Harvest. That was a cool little Easter egg. Harvest is basically the first planet that the Covenant went and took over, I guess, or kind of like held hostage. There's a lot of really cool kind of Halo lore involved with that, because the Covenant realizes what humanity is, and there's like in the books there's like a brief meeting where humanity, like, they give fruit and like some things of kindness to the Covenant, and the Covenant like don't get it. And then the Covenant realized that, because they were here because they were looking for Forerunner related things, and they realized that, oh, like, humans are these Forerunner related things, because it's a whole thing. And then that's why they decided to wage war against humanity.
Right. Okay.
It's convoluted. But a good little Easter egg.
Yeah. That shot too of like the Covenant fleet like kind of emerging through the clouds or the fog layer. That was really nice.
That was an absolute episode highlight. That was 10 seconds of amazingness out of 40 minutes of questionability.
Yeah. Yeah, we already kind of talked about that opening cutscene from episode 1, but just a couple other like I liked the foggy setting of it. I thought it was cool. There's a couple interesting moments where the one like Covenant is coming up behind Chief, and he crouches down and puts the shotgun behind his shoulder and takes him out. I thought that was really cool. It was a fun scene, other than like some meh CGI in parts for Chief in particular. I thought that was a fun, like, well choreographed sequence. And then just the shot of like the beams coming down and then like instantly turning to lava and that spewing out. And there was that one shot where the beams coming down, like one of the ships is trying to fly away, and it just gets beamed in half, and I was just like, oh, like just a gut wrenching moment. It was really, really well done. I liked Liked all those visuals there.
We also got to see him with like a grapple shot, which was introduced in the latest
yeah.
Halo game. So that was kind of
Right.
cool.
Yeah, because that wasn't in 5, right? That was just Infinite that had that.
No, yeah, just Infinite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
kind
that
of
was
fun.
pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely put the first episode maybe higher on the scale than the second one, just because of certain like Halo vibes and aesthetics that episode really put out there. Halo 2
Hmm.
or episode 2 just felt like more drama and backstory, and like Chief grabbing Ackerson's arm, and Chief that, oh god, like yeah, he was seeing the girl, and I almost forgot that freaking Mackay.
Mackie,
Oh, she's back.
she's back.
She's back in episode 2.
She's gonna be
Like,
in it a lot, I think, is the vibe I'm getting.
I think so. I really do think so. And like the Covenant, they probably got wicked healing technology, and I'm sure they healed her up because they want to keep her because she can activate this tech. But I don't need this character. I really, really don't.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see what the story is for her, because I do think she's one of the better actors of this show. So I think there's some potential there. But she's definitely, she got so little screen time other than that sequence at the end with the other Covenant just fucking up those Marines. Um, so yeah, I don't really have much to add on her yet. Kind of hopefully it's a upturn from season 1. How much do you think her story is gonna revolve around Chief like it did in? Because like, it
Oh,
kind of seems like right now like she's kind of just off doing something separate. I don't know.
yeah, she's definitely doing her own thing. So I'm curious how much more she's gonna actually have in the story, but I think that she's gonna probably play a consistent, parallel, prominent, haunting position on Chief, because Chief seems to just keep on thinking like he's hearing her and seeing her, and he's trying to make his holograms like look like her, Halsey, and Cortana all mixed in one. I don't know.
Right.
He's fucked up right now. My God.
He is. One moment that I thought was funny was when he goes to Perez's house to talk to her, find out what's going on, and then like Perez's mom walks up to the door and she's just like, "You are very large," and he's like, "Yes, ma'am." That got me. Because he's like, he always acts the same for every scene, pretty much, like with the odd
Mhm.
exception. I just thought his reaction there was good, good
I was
little
just
one liner.
That was good. It was just so weird him just going in there having dinner with the family, and the brothers are talking like, "So man,
Yeah.
what's your KD ratio?" I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
that
what
was
is this?
that was like some first half an hour of Gran Turismo cringe, and I will say, so after the episode was done, and I was like getting ready, the autoplay on Paramount took me to Twisted Metal. I was like, I'm just like hearing the first minute of that Anthony Mackie's character. It had that sort of energy of like trying to capture like video game talk.
Oh, God.
It's pretty goofy. What do you think, the Spartan Attack though? This concept of there being I presume a video game in this world called Spartan Attack.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about video games inside like the Halo world itself. It's
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then
cool
being
thing to
based
think
off
about.
the actual Spartans because people
Yeah,
the regular civilians kind of look up to them. How close do you
yeah.
think it is to Halo as a game? Do
Oh,
you think
I
you can
bet it's.
play as Chief in Spartan Attack?
Oh, absolutely. I think
Yeah,
you
I
are.
think
I think
so.
it's probably like you're wearing the Apple Vision Pro. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
So it's $4,000.
Yeah, $4,000 game. That's
Yeah.
why I was asking was KD.
God damn.
You mentioned it briefly there when uh, Mackay was returning, but you get that cool sequence, the Marines going down the hall, and it's just I feel like this commander, he was kind of stupid because he's like, okay, first wave go, and they just get slaughtered. Second wave go,
Mm.
man. You reevaluate your scenario, your situation here. Your first squad that you sent in completely botched. So why would you send in the next wave and then you're all alone? It's questionable, but I like that takes place on Sword Base because that's another iconic location from Halo Reach. It's one of the I think the
Mm.
first areas or engagements between the Covenant and the UNSC on
Sword
Reach
Base
in
is
the
what it's
game.
called?
Sword Base,
What
yeah.
do I need to know about Sword Base?
I don't think you really need to know much, except in the show. It seems like that's just where they're housing the one half of that, um, the device, I guess, where that tells them where Halo the rings are.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it
I think
was.
they called it
So
like, didn't they just call it the artifact? Or maybe that's just a generic term these days. Starfield had all these artifacts. I don't know. I might be mixing up my sci-fi at this point.
no, I think you're right. I think it is just the artifact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about what's going on with Halsey so far in the first 2 episodes? She's in this weird kind of, I don't know, also Apple Vision situation where she's put in this presumed world, and they're not torturing her, but they're trying to like do some mind tricks on her to get her to spill the beans. But she's captured. But then there's like a portal, and it's like I don't really know where this. I am very confused by it. Clearly, as you can tell by my description of what is going on.
They keep sending in a clone to die after playing backgammon, which is
Right.
just weird. And yeah, I honestly could not tell you what's going on here, but I feel like if you're just wasting screen time, why even have these scenes? Period. We have not gotten anything out of Halsey. We've not gotten anything out of the fact that aside from, okay, Ackerson just has her in containment under lockdown. We could have had that covered in a quick brief scene like they showed with him and Cortana. Just show him go down to the basement of his little house, his business office he's got, and then you could see Halsey in a cell or something down there. That's all we needed to see. I did not need an extended sequence of her talking to a clone, trying to figure out who is the guy that's got her trapped here. And then it turns out it's just Ackerson because he doesn't even care. He just walks in there anyways. So the secrecy is irrelevant to who the man was. And yeah, it's pointless. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it definitely feels just like padding. I don't know. This show really, season 1 and this first 2 episodes so far, just really struggles with pacing in general. And you have all these storylines and these subplots and these sub storylines, and I feel like they really struggle once they've like filmed it all to like, okay, how do we chop this together? How do we make this cohesive? And I don't know. I feel like maybe a better way to go is to have longer cohesive sequences rather than jumping from thing to thing and just getting so little development. Because like, damn, we're already a quarter through this season, like we've already gone a decent ways through, and I feel like for at least 2 or 3 of these storylines we haven't made any ground yet. So I don't know. I guess like the first episode was I think 57 minutes like with credits. The second one was like 40 something with credits. So I don't know. I'm curious if the times will be quite random, sporadic like that, or if it's more just like, okay, episode 1 we're gonna open with a bang, and then I don't know, it'll be like 45-minute episodes throughout. Because yeah, we're probably gonna get a lot less screen time in general than we did in that first season. Now maybe there's less setup to be done. Doesn't seem like we're having too many new characters, really just like Ackerson and maybe some other minor ones. So I don't know. I think I'm glad that it's shorter just for that pacing thing, but I hope they can pull it off still. And I don't know. So far I agree with you though. It feels like we're wasting time on some of these subplots.
Yeah. One more thing I guess I have is oh gosh, did I really just lose my train of thought with it?
Halsey related, other character, pacing, episode count.
Oh my gosh.
Chief related.
Oh my gosh. It was bothering me so much, and I think it just evaporated and disintegrated out of my mind.
Damn.
Maybe it'll come back to me.
I don't know where you're going with it, so I don't know if I can.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna think about it after we're
Action,
recording.
CGI, character
no, it wasn't
thing.
CGI. It was definitely a character thing. It was something that a character did, and it really.
Halsey, Kai. Let me just name characters.
Wasn't
we haven't talked about Chief Commander Keyes. Was it him related? We haven't talked about him at all.
No, it wasn't him related. Oh, I remember. Thank you.
We got there.
So, Chief, they walk into the room. It's like their little Spartan briefing room, and the guy's changing the words for like the Spartan squads, and he changes the words to standby for Cobalt team. And she's like, "What do you think you're doing? You take that down now!" Like he just reams on this poor man. He's like, "They tell me." He literally says it. "They tell me to change the sign, and I change the sign. You take that down." Like this.
I felt so bad for that kid. You can tell this is like his first job sort of thing. He's like new. It's like his second day or something. He's getting reamed out by like this person he's looked up to his whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I was just dying laughing at that. Oh,
Who
but that's
tells
it.
you to
That's
put
all
that
I got.
sign up?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that poor kid.
Oh man, that was a good shout out. That was funny.
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking forward to hearing Kirkland's thoughts when he joins us next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Travis might sneak in here eventually.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Whoa, speak of the devil. Look at that. If you're on the YouTube show, you know what I
He's
mean.
watching. He had like a pony with him, little
Yeah.
pony over here.
He's got like a, what the heck is he holding in his hands? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's it. Okay. Well,
stuff.
I think that about does it. So we'll be back next week. Next week, yeah, you're gonna get Madam Web on the Wednesday, and then we'll be back for Halo
Yeah,
on the
look at that, eh?
Thursday. Yeah.
Crazy,
So
big week.
until then, thank you for tuning, and we'll see you in the search bar. Have a good one.
Bye everyone.